Good afternoon. This is cause number 2021-38366 in the interest of Raylan and Rosalind Castellanos. All parties and witnesses, please unmute yourselves and raise your right hand to be sworn. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Can you hear me,
Yes, I'm
Miss?
here.
All right. You
Yes,
solemnly
Miss.
swear. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, ma'am. Please state your name and your relationship to the children.
My name is Claudia Butron, and I am the mother of Raylan Castellanos and Rosalind Castellanos.
All right, and representing the state of Texas.
Sade Parker, Your Honor.
Court will note that Ray Castellanos is the non-custodial parent. He is not present. Mr. Castellanos was served personally on July 13th, 2021 at 4:24 p.m. at 6830 Avenue C in Houston, Harris County, Texas. He's not made an appearance or filed an answer. Is that correct, Ms. Parker?
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
We'll proceed by default.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, the state would like to call Claudia Butron. Ms.
Okay.
Butron, who is Raylan Castellanos?
That is my daughter.
And how old is she?
She's 8 years old.
What is her birth date?
4/30/13.
Who is her father?
Ray Castellanos.
And when Raylan was born, do you remember Mr. Castellanos coming to the hospital and signing an acknowledgement of paternity?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you also sign that acknowledgement?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you asking this court to establish a parent-child relationship between Raylan Castellanos and Ray Castellanos?
Yes.
Who is Rosalind Castellanos?
That is my daughter.
How old is she?
She's 2.
When is her birth date?
12/20/18.
And who is her father?
Ray Castellanos.
And when Rosalind was born, do you remember Mr. Castellanos coming to the hospital and signing an acknowledgement of paternity at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you also sign that acknowledgement?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you asking this court to establish a parent-child relationship between Ray Castellanos and Rosalind Castellanos?
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
Okay, and what type of conservatorship are you requesting? Joint managing or sole managing?
Sole managing.
Did you say sole?
Yes.
Okay, and why are you requesting sole managing?
Me and Ray Castellanos, we have a domestic violence case, and it's now pending. He does go back to court back in December of this year, December the 8th, for he had slapped Raylan, and he strangled me, and he was kicking me in my stomach, in my head, and punching me numerous times.
Okay, and what type of visitation are you requesting for Mr. Castellanos with the children?
Supervised.
And are you requesting that be supervised through the Harris County Domestic Relations Office?
Yes, ma'am.
And why are you requesting the visits be supervised?
Because his temper.
And when you say his temper, what do you mean?
He's just violent.
Okay, and the last time.
And
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. We have, me and him, we do have not just one domestic violence case, but I mean it's like maybe two or three.
Okay,
and I would have his grandparents. His grandpa no longer wants to be a part of being in the middle of being one of the persons that they're supervising the visits with his kids, because he just doesn't want to be a part of it, and because his temper, then he tends to yell at the grandpa, so he no longer wants to deal with that.
Okay, so he had been having visits with the kids, but his grandfather was always there, or his grandfather or grandmother was there supervising it, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, and they've since stated that they no longer want to be a part of it, correct?
Correct, yes.
And is that why, and that's why you wanted to be at the domestic relations office?
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you also understand that the child support, medical support, and the retroactive child support will all be based on the guideline amount based on the minimum wage presumption, correct?
Yes.
Because to your knowledge, does Mr. Castellano have a job?
No.
Okay. And what type of health insurance is currently available for your children?
They have Medicaid.
Okay. And you do understand that the Medicaid in the amount of $85 per month will begin the medical support beginning on November 1st of 2021, correct?
Correct.
And you understand that the child support in the amount of $264 will be beginning on November 1st of 2021.
Correct.
And the retroactive time period is from 4 years prior to the date of service, which would be June 25th of 2017 to the present is the whole period. But during that period, during that period, you and Mr. Castellanos lived together for about 10 months during that period of time, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so for the other 43 months, the amount of the retroactive child support would be $12,255 with a payment on that amount in the amount of $112 per month beginning on November 1st of 2021, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And are you also requesting that Mr. Castellano be responsible for 50% of all uncovered healthcare expenses?
Yes.
You're requesting that he be responsible for all court costs as billed.
Yes, ma'am.
And do you believe this order is in the best interest of your children?
Yes, ma'am. I believe it is.
And are you requesting that the court approve this default order?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have no further questions for this witness.
All right, the court will approve the order submitted. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Boutron, you're free to hang up since you've already signed everything.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Which one? You have 3 cases up here. This is default. It's either this one or this one. All right. Good afternoon. This is cause number 2021-34985 in the interest of Caden Calloway. All parties and witnesses, please unmute yourselves and raise your right hands to be sworn. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Calloway, are you there? He's frozen.
I
Heard you say Mr. Calloway, but kind of broke in and out.
Okay, hold on. Mr. Calloway, raise your right hand to be sworn. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, ma'am, please state your name and your relationship to this child.
My name is Chancey Domino Gibson, and I'm Caden's mother.
All right, sir, your name and your relationship to this child. He's frozen again.
I'm sorry. My name is Frederick Calloway. I'm the father to Caden Calloway.
All right, and representing the state of Texas.
Yes, Judge. Kavita Sharma for the state.
All right, we have an original petition and a suit affecting parent-child relationship with an AOP. And we're having a hearing today, is that correct, Ms. Sharma?
Yes, Judge.
Do we have any stipulations?
Yes, Judge. We have some stipulations. When you're ready, I can read those into the record.
All right,
Parties agree to sole managing conservatorship. Parties agree to child support at $680 a month, starting November 1 and monthly thereafter. Parties agree to medical support at $193 a month, starting November 1 and monthly thereafter. Parties agree to retroactive child support. The amount is $16,920 at $150 a month. And Judge, I believe this is for, let me double check, please, regarding the retro dates. I'm pulling that up right now. But parties also agree that there is family violence. The one issue that the parties do not agree on, visitations. Mr. Calloway would prefer standard possession with standard visits, and Miss Domino Mom wants supervised visits.
all right. So far, Mr. Calloway, what's that, Mr. Calloway?
I was listening in. It says that we both agreed on family violence. There's no history of family violence at all. No police records or nothing like that.
Okay, so that's not an agreement. Hold on, Ms.
Ms.
Domino. Hold on, Ms. Domino. So that's not an agreement. That's not your agreement. Is that correct, Mr. Calloway?
I have no cases for family violence or anything.
All
like
right,
that.
all right. Listen to my question. That's not your agreement then. Family violence is not part of the agreement. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Do you agree on everything else?
As
So
far
far.
as child support payments, yes.
All that. Okay. Now, Miss Domino, is that your agreement? Everything
Not
else?
at all.
That's not your agreement.
No.
No, ma'am. I'm talking besides the family violence issue.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I agree on the payment.
You agree on everything else. Okay. So, all right. So then there is an issue about family violence, Ms. Sharma?
Yes, Judge. So I'd like to withdraw that as a stipulation.
All right.
And
So
I do have those
we'll
retro
add that.
dates.
We'll add that as an issue.
Yes, Judge. And as far as the retroactive dates, parties agree that it will be from September of 2018 to September of 2021.
Okay. All right, then let's proceed with the two issues. One, it's family violence finding, and the other is possession and access.
Yes, Judge. I would like to call Mr. Frederick Calloway.
Yes.
And Mr. Calloway, you're stating
You don't need to raise your hand, sir. Go ahead.
You're stating that there has been no issue of domestic violence between you and Ms. Domino, correct?
Correct.
And when was the last time you saw your child?
I want to say shortly before his second, maybe 6 months before his second birthday, I was meeting Miss Chancey Domino at a Whataburger off of Homestead and 610 to give her some money for my child. She met me there. I gave her the money. She noticed I had a female friend in the car. She didn't like the fact
Okay,
that
sir. This is too much. The question was, when was the last time you visited with the child?
maybe about 18.
I'm sorry, you froze up. I couldn't hear the answer. You're still frozen.
My son's about 18.
Cannot hear you, sir.
He hasn't seen my baby since he was in the
So, ma'am, nobody's talking to you right now. You're going to have an opportunity, but don't interrupt, please.
I
Mr.
apologize.
Calloway. Mr. Calloway, when was the last time you saw your child?
When a year, 1 year,
I can't hear you, sir. We have a bad connection. I cannot hear you.
We may have lost him, Judge.
All right, we also have another default.
We do. Do you want to step down from this hearing?
Let's just
And-
recess until we can get him back on, so where we can understand what he's saying. Okay.
Yes,
And
Judge.
let's move on to what's the name of the
Loco, I believe, Judge, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Basoko.
Yes. Ms. Domino, go ahead and turn off your camera, mute yourself briefly. We're going to take a quick recess from here.
We'll be back until we can get a good connection with Mr. Calloway. Ms. Basoko, are you in the?
Señora Basoko,
Sí,
Okay.
prenda su cámara y su micrófono.
All right. This is cause number 2021-28069 in the interest of Miguel, Allison, and Camila Basoko.
No puedo, disculpe, no puedo prender el video porque me dice que el anfitrión no lo tiene, no lo autoriza. Ahí está, a ver. Ya.
Ya, ok. Estamos al número de causa 2021-22069 en el interés de Miguel, Ángel, Alison, Judith, Camila, Nicole Basoko.
Ajá.
Okay. Please raise your right hand to be sworn.
Levante la mano derecha para ser jurada.
Sí.
You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Jura decir la verdad y solo la verdad ante Dios.
Sí, lo juro.
Yes, I swear.
All right. So, ma'am, please state your name and your relationship to the children.
Señora, diga su nombre completo y la relación de los niños.
Mi nombre es Idalia Garza de Basoko. Mis niños es Miguel Ángel Basoko, Alison Judith Basoko y Camila Basoko. Son mis
My name
hijos.
is Idalia L. Garza de Basoko. My children are Miguel Ángel Basoko, Alison Judith Basoko, Camila Nicole Basoko. My children.
All right. And representing the state.
Kavita Sharma for the state, Your Honor.
El estado es la señora Sharma.
All right. Court will note that the non-custodial parent, Miguel Basoko, is not present.
El señor Basoko no está presente el día de hoy.
He was
No.
personally served on July 7th, 2021 at 5:20 p.m.
Le dieron los documentos al señor en July 1,
7.
Julio 7, 2021 a las 5 de la tarde.
Ajá.
5:20.
5:20
At
de la
20
tarde.
at 224 North Edgewood Street, Houston, Harris County, Texas. Did you hear that?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. What was the address?
224 North Edgewood Street, Houston, Harris County, Texas.
Le dimos los documentos en la dirección 224 North Ridge, Houston, Texas, in Harris County.
Okay.
Ajá.
And he has not filed an answer or made an appearance. Is that correct, Ms. Sharma?
Correct, Your Honor.
Él no ha hecho ninguna apariencia y nunca ha sometido una respuesta.
No.
The answer was that's correct.
Sabes
All
lo
right.
que el juez está diciendo.
Okay, so we'll have a default hearing.
Yes, Judge. I would like to
Proceder con una
call,
orden.
I would like to call Miss Idalia Garza.
All right.
La abogada quiere llamar a usted, señora Idalia Garza.
And Miss Garza,
Okay.
how old are your
Uh-huh.
children?
I'm sorry, Sharma, what did you say?
How old are the children?
¿Qué edad tienen sus hijos, señora?
El grande tiene 16, 15 y 6.
The oldest, 16, 15, and 6. ¿Seis hijos?
6. Ujú.
And who do you allege is the father of your children?
¿Y quién usted dice que es el papá de sus hijos? ¿Quién declara?
Miguel Basoco es el papá de mis hijos.
The father of my children is Miguel Basoco.
And are you currently married?
¿En este momento usted está casado?
Sí.
Yes.
Who are you married to?
¿Con quién está casada, señora?
Miguel Ángel Basoco.
Miguel Ángel Basoco.
Ujú.
And are you currently separated?
¿En este momento está separada?
Sí.
Yes.
When did you separate?
¿Cuándo se separó?
Desde el enero 18
January 18. ¿Qué año?
de 2021.
January 18, 2021.
Ujú.
Okay, thank you. And who usually makes the decisions for the children?
¿Quién hace decisiones hacia los niños usualmente?
Pues ahorita yo.
Right now, me.
Does their father contribute at all to helping with the children?
¿El señor ha contribuido en algo ayudando a los niños?
No, nada.
Nothing.
Who do the children live with?
¿Con quién viven los niños?
Conmigo.
With me.
And which county do you reside in?
¿En qué condado está viviendo, señora?
Aquí en el condado de Harris.
Harris County.
Ujú.
And in which county does their father reside in?
¿En qué condado vive el señor?
Creo que vive en Harris también.
I believe in Harris County.
Do you feel like you can effectively co-parent with the other person, the father of the children?
¿Usted cree que puede comunicarse con el señor para hacer decisiones sobre los niños?
No.
No.
Why not?
¿Por qué no?
Bueno, porque él tiene una orden de restricción ahorita que no me puede hablar, no se puede acercar y yo la verdad que no hablo con él para nada.
At the moment, he has a protective order. He cannot get near us and he cannot contact us. And ¿qué es lo último que dijo, señora?
Que hasta el momento no hablo con él para nada.
At the moment, I don't communicate with him at all.
Okay. And based on that information, what type of conservatorship do you believe is in the best interest of your children?
Basado en la información que nos ha dado, ¿cuál es lo que usted está poniendo a la corte que es mejor para los niños de conservador?
Perdón, no lo escuché.
Basado en lo que hizo de testimonio, ¿qué usted está pensando que es mejor para que el juez decida el bienestar de los niños?
Bueno, pienso que el bienestar para mis hijos es mejor conmigo, que estén conmigo.
For the children to remain with her?
So she believes that sole managing conservatorship is in the best interest of the children?
¿Usted piensa que usted sea la primaria conservadora de los niños, que haga las decisiones primarias?
Sí, por favor.
Yes, please.
And when was the last time the father visited with the children?
¿Cuándo fue la última vez que visitó el señor a los niños?
Fue como, sería como en febrero. Bueno, déjeme, le digo que fue el día que cumplió la niña los 15 años, que fue ahora en septiembre, el 7 de septiembre, vino como el 11, pero hacía unas calles para atrás.
She said on September 7th, 2021, but he didn't get near the children. It was blocks away.
Okay. How would you describe the children's relationship with their father?
¿Cómo usted describe la relación de padre e hijo?
Bien, con ellos se lleva bien.
With the children, he gets along.
Okay. And has the father provided any financial support to the children since you all have separated?
¿El señor le ha dado ayuda financiera desde que se separaron?
No, nada.
No, nothing.
And since you separated January 18th of 2021, are you requesting back child support for the 3 children?
Desde que se separaron en enero 18, 2021, ¿se está pidiendo dinero retroactivo para los 3 niños?
Sí.
Yes.
And is that amount $1,420?
Esa es la cantidad de 420. I'm sorry, you said 420?
1,420?
Oh, esa es la cantidad de retroactivo de 3,420?
Sí.
Yes.
And you're asking that he pay that at $100 a month?
¿Y
Starting
que pague $100 al mes para cubrir el retroactivo?
Sí.
Yes.
And do you know where their father works currently?
¿Usted sabe dónde el papá de los niños está trabajando?
No, la verdad no sé nada.
No. I joined
Okay.
the meeting.
And are you asking the court to order child support based on the minimum wage at $315 a month, beginning November 1 and monthly thereafter?
Usted está pidiendo que la corte que él pague manutención basado en lo mínimo que se gana y que pague de manutención 315 al mes, empezando noviembre 1, 2021, para los 3 niños.
Pues sí, oiga, pues si no se puede comprobar que él trabaja, porque me imagino que trabaja, pero no trabaja su seguro social.
Yes, I don't have a way of proving that he is working. I think he does work, but I don't know where.
And how are the
His Social
children
Security
covered?
number.
How are the children covered under health insurance?
¿Qué clase de aseguranza médica tienen los niños?
¿Tienen Medicaid?
They have Medicaid?
And are you asking the court order Mr. Basuko pay $88 a month beginning November 1 and thereafter for health insurance?
Usted está pidiendo que la corte ordene al señor que pague manutención, no, soporte médico de $88 empezando noviembre 1, 2021 para los
Sí.
3.
Ajá.
Yeah.
And are you asking that any uncovered health care expenses be billed to Mr. Basako at 50%? Or that he covers
¿Está de acuerdo?
50% of that?
¿Y está de acuerdo que cualquier bill médico que la aseguranza suya no cubra, el señor sea responsable 50% de esos biles médicos y se los pague a usted directamente?
Sí.
Yeah,
Claro que sí.
of course.
And if court costs are billed, who do you believe should be required to pay the court costs?
Si la corte le manda un bill a usted ¿quién piensa que pagará ese bill? ¿El señor o usted?
¿Debería de pagarlo él?
Mr. Basoko should pay it.
And are you asking the court to keep your information confidential, such as your address and phone number, from Mr. Basoko?
¿Está de acuerdo de que la corte mantenga su información confidencial para que el
Sí.
señor Basoko no la tenga?
Así es.
If
Yeah,
he knows,
that is
if
correct.
he has access to your address, would it cause you or the children any harassment, abuse, or serious harm or injury?
Si el señor tiene su dirección, ¿puede causarle que él la lastime a usted o a los niños?
Pues a los niños no, pero pienso que a mí sí.
I don't believe to the children, but towards me, yes.
Okay. And did you sign this order?
¿Usted firmó la orden?
Sí.
Yes.
And are you asking the court to approve this order?
¿Usted está pidiendo que la corte apruebe esta orden? ¿Que acabo
Sí.
de firmar? Yes.
Sí.
All right, the court will approve the order submitted. Thank you.
La corte aprobó la orden, señora. Ya puede desconectarse.
Muchas gracias.
Pase buen día.
Igual.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to get back on with Callaway and Domino. Mr. Callaway, are you there? Please unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I can hear you better now. Ms. Domino, please unmute yourself. All right, we had recessed so we could get better reception from Mr. Callaway. So let's continue with the hearing.
Yes, sir. Mr. Calloway, my question to you was, when was the last time you saw your child?
He was about 18 months years old.
Okay. And do you have a stable home for your child to have visits with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any reason why the court should not allow overnight visits with your son?
No, ma'am.
Do you have any other children that live with you in the home?
No, ma'am.
Are there any other adults that live in the home with you?
My aunt and my uncle.
I'm sorry, say it again. It was somebody and your uncle?
My aunt and uncle. I live with my aunt and uncle.
Okay. Are any one of those adults that live with you subject to a protective order that prevents them from being around children?
No, ma'am.
Do any one of those adults have a history of violence?
No, ma'am.
Are your aunt or uncle required to register as a sex offender in the state of Texas or other states?
No, ma'am.
Has there been a history of domestic violence between you and Miss Domino?
No, ma'am.
And why do you believe the court should order a standard possession order without supervised visits for you and your son?
I have no history of violence anywhere on my name in the history of my name. My oldest child, I've never even physically disciplined him, and he can attest to that.
Okay, and tell me, remind the court, how old is your child?
My child will be 20 on December 18th, 2021.
Okay, and the child that we're here for in court today, how old is he?
Be 5 on, well, no, he's 4. He just turned 4, September 11th, 2021.
So the child will be 4, and the last time you saw him, he was 18 months old, correct?
Correct, yes.
You feel that it would be in the best interest of the child to have some modified visits for a few hours on the weekend, or do you feel it's best to jump straight into standard possession first, third, and fifth weekend?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? You kind of broke up some.
Since it's been a number of years since you saw your child last, do you feel that some modified visits would be appropriate?
I don't personally think. I believe when my child sees me, he will be joyful. But if I'm willing to do whatever it takes, but I do not believe that my child would be anything other than joyful when he sees me.
Thank you, Mr. Calloway. I have no further questions. Judge, I pass this witness.
Miss Domino, do you have any questions for Mr. Calloway?
Oh no, I don't care to speak with him. I don't have any questions for him.
Okay. Ms. Sharma?
Yes, I would like to call Miss Chancey Domino. Miss Domino,
Yes, ma'am.
you stated there was a history of domestic violence between you and Mr. Calloway. Can you explain that,
Ma'am,
please?
and I can provide the case number right now before I go into detail about it.
Were there any charges filed?
No, charges weren't filed. I just packed all of my things, moved to the other side of town, and ceased to, go further with any contact.
And when you say case number, what is that for? CPS, Sheriff's
No, I
Department?
called the police on this day.
And what happened when you called the police?
I called the police because Frederick had came into my home through a window that was accessible to the it's like a sidewalk area type deal. It's the only window you can get into my house or whatever because I was upstairs. But he broke the window, and he and I passed words. I ended up calling the police. Frederick was threatening me and watching me while the police was there. The officer wouldn't leave me there. He waited 40 minutes at least for my mother to come from on the other side of the city to pick me up. He was like, "There's absolutely no way I'm leaving you here by yourself." But he made threats toward me, saying what he would do to me while I was pregnant and how my family members were going to find me beaten and pregnant.
Okay.
And he has put his hands on me in front of my daughter that was 17 at the time.
Okay. But to reiterate, no charges have been filed against him for domestic violence, harassment, or burglary of your habitation.
No.
Okay. Do you believe that Mr. Calloway would have a stable home to have visits with your son?
No.
Okay. Do you believe that supervised visits would be in the best interest of your child?
Very much so.
And how long or how many visits do you believe should be supervised for your son and Mr. Calloway?
I can't make that decision at the moment. I would just say until it takes my sons to transition. Frederick has told me that he was very attached to his mother. It's not that I want my baby to be so attached to me, but he does suffer from attachment anxiety. We just had a function with my family members that he doesn't see all the time. And when he walked into the garage, he screamed and hollered because the garage was full of people. You know, he basically deals with who's in his home.
And who's going to supervise this visitation, Miss Domino?
I mean, I have no one to supervise it on my end. I would be okay with his aunt. The aunt that told me, and this is his only living relative, that Frederick is not mentally stable and that I would have been better off having my baby by someone else.
The same one that you just said?
No, sir. No, sir. Nobody's talking to you right now, sir. Nobody, you can't interrupt. You're going to have an opportunity to say something. All right. Go ahead, Miss Sherman.
Thank you. So, Ms. Domino, you're okay with a set number of supervised visits with his aunt being the person to supervise it, but you don't know how many visits at this point should be supervised?
I can't say that. Like my baby don't deal with nobody.
Okay.
He's never, the first time my son was away from me overnight, he was 2 years old, almost 3, and he stayed with his sister that had been living with us, you know, since he been born.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Domino. Judge, I have no further questions and I pass this witness.
All right, Mr. Calloway, do you have any questions for Miss Domino?
Yes. I do. Why would you tell the court that I don't have a stable home and you just agreed to saying that I can have supervised visits with my auntie? That's the same auntie that I live with. Why would you say that? Why do you say that I have
All right, Mr. Calloway, you asked the question already. Okay. Now, so Miss Domino, why are you saying that it would be all right to have supervised visits with his aunt, and that's in fact where he lives?
I didn't know he lived with his aunt, but I wouldn't want the visits to be in home. I was told that they would be at a center or something. That's what the first lady told me that I was on the phone with.
Well, no, not necessarily. It could be wherever the paternal aunt is, and she, as long as she's supervising the visitation.
I'm terrified of it. I just can't do nothing, to be honest with y'all.
But you're okay with my aunt, though.
Wait a minute, Mr. Calloway.
I only want to address Your Honor.
Wait a minute, Miss Domino. Mr. Calloway, do you have another question for Miss Domino?
I do.
Go ahead.
Why do you tell the courts that there's there's domestic violence between me and you when you've told my lady friend that as of supposed recently, you've chased her down on Facebook, and as of recently told her that we've been having sex? If we've having sex, we can't have a domestic dispute.
I haven't spoke to this person in all the months and Sundays that he hasn't seen my son. So for me, I don't even know what he's talking about. This issue is about my son. And the question was, do I feel comfortable with the unsupervised? Like I said, if it was outside of the home, that would be okay. But you gotta
prove that I'm violent towards my child.
Wait a minute, Mr. Calloway, Mr. Calloway.
I'm sorry.
This is not Judge Judy. You're not here to argue with
correct.
Each other. You're just a question and an answer. A question and an answer.
Yes, I think he's proven enough that he's aggressive. So, my son.
Miss Domino. Okay, Mr. Calloway, you have another question for Miss Domino.
Another question about domestic violence. You said what dates were you saying about a domestic violence, and what dates were where I was paying for you to stay for you and Kaden in a room? After you said you packed up your bags and went, and your mom went and took you somewhere, what dates was I paying for you to stay in a room?
They don't have nothing to do with my son. I did state that to the first officer or whatever that I spoke to, but the date from the threat is 7/23/17, sir. Like I said, I was pregnant, and he had threatened to leave me beaten and bloody, pregnant.
Who was pregnant? Who was pregnant?
I would only like to address the judge and Miss Sharma, if
No,
that's
ma'am.
okay.
No, ma'am. You have to answer the question. You're on a witness stand right now. So
And it's 7/23/17.
Oh yeah, in 2017 you were pregnant with Kaden, correct? Okay. Now when did I pay for you to be in the room for when you and Kaden was born?
After I had my baby, and I also told the baby, I told the
Wait a
baby you paid for
Mr.
it.
Calloway, Mr. Calloway.
But you saying you haven't seen me?
No, Mr. Calloway. You have to give her an opportunity to answer. Don't interrupt.
I'm sorry.
What is your answer, Ms. Domino?
I admit that he did pay for it. And I also admit that never, not one time, did he take this child to spend time with this child, because that's what was best for me. Me and my child was left in the room for over 31 days. Just in the room, me and my baby. I would beg Frederick to take the baby. It's go spend time with the baby, to give me an hour break. Take him to the park. Never once did he ever take my baby. So why is he so keen and hell-bent on just grabbing my, thinking he's gonna snatch my baby
Oh,
up?
no. You answered the question already. Mr. Calloway, do you have another question?
I mean, that pretty much proves that's the violence. She said she packed up and left in 2017, but I ended up being able to be around her.
No. Do you have a question, Mr. Calloway?
I do. Why are you telling the courts that I'm some type, making me try to be like some type of monster towards you and my child, when even before we had a child, I'm not the richest person, but I was taking care of you. Come on now. I understand you may be hurt.
Okay, wait. You asked the question.
In regards to that, like I said, he was violent toward me. He was violent toward me when I was pregnant. And as far as him keeping my baby, Frederick didn't keep his first baby for years until I came in the picture. It took someone to tell his baby mother that was familiar with me that it was okay for the baby to come to the home or whatever. But even then, Frederick wasn't in the home with that baby. I took care of the baby. So I'm not okay with just throwing my son to Frederick without transitioning.
I have time sheets of the hours that I've worked. I work long hours, but my boss knows now that if I need time off, I have set days off that I could take. And the only reason, why
in the restroom for hours and speak to himself. He was sit in the car for hours and speak to himself. The aunt that he said he lives with says that he's not mentally stable. So we're going to do some evaluation before he just keep my baby.
All right, folks, I'm going to transfer this matter to the 247th District Court, and the DRO mediation is ordered.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Calloway and Ms. Domino, please use the Zoom ID for the previous meeting that we were in, and you can go back there and I'll meet you guys there, okay? But you are both excused from this meeting.
All right.
Señora López, por favor, prenda su micrófono y su cámara.
Dice que no puedo entrar, poner la cámara porque el anfitrión, iniciando mi video, ¿verdad?
Ok, ya se prendió.
All right, this is call number 2021-09867 in the interest of Ruth, Maybelline, and Catherine Almendarez Lopez. Please raise your right hand to be sworn.
Este es el caso 2021-09867 en el interés de Ruth, Maybelline, Catherine Almendarez López. Por favor, levante la mano derecha para ser jurada.
You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
¿Jura decir la verdad, toda la verdad delante de Dios? I swear. Yes, I do.
Okay. Ma'am, please state your name and your relationship to the children.
Señora, por favor, diga su nombre y la relación de usted a las hijas.
Merari López López, Ruth Alexandra Almendares López, Maybelline Nazaret Almendares López, Catherine Milagros Almendares López.
Ok, por favor, ¿cuál es su nombre otra vez? No la oí. Señora, por favor, repita la respuesta. ¿Cuál es su nombre y la relación de usted a los hijos?
La madre.
I am
Cindy
the
Merari.
mother.
And for the state?
Kavita Sharma for the state, Your Honor.
Y para el estado, la abogada Sharma.
Court will note that the non-custodial parent, Ramon Elias Almendares, is not present.
La corte nota que el señor Ramón Elias Almendares no está presente.
He made an appearance and signed a reset order setting this matter for Zoom hearing today.
Él apareció y firmó una orden que la corte se iba a posponer a esta fecha.
And
por
he
la
is not,
aplicación Zoom.
and he is not checked in. Is that correct, Ms. Sharma?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Y el señor no se ha presentado. ¿Es correcto, señora Sharma? Es correcto.
We'll proceed by default.
Vamos a proceder sin el señor.
I'd like to call Ms. Lopez.
Llamamos a la señora López de testigo.
Oh, Judge, sorry, I meant to say I'd like to call Mr. Arnold Barrera, not Ms. Lopez.
Llamamos al señor Barrera de testigo.
And Mr. Barrera, can you please state your full name for the court?
¿Puede decir su nombre completo para la corte? Arnoldo Barrera. Arnold Barrera.
And where are you, Mr. Barrera?
¿Dónde trabaja usted? I work at the office of the Attorney General. Trabajo en la oficina del Attorney General.
And what is your position there?
¿Qué es la posición de su empleado ahí? I am a child support officer. Trabajo de oficial del Estado.
And what are your duties as a child support officer?
¿Cuáles son las cosas que usted hace de oficial del Estado de manutención? I do investigations on calculating child support and retroactive child support. Hago investigaciones a calcular la manutención y manutención retroactiva.
And do you receive training to calculate child support in compliance with the Texas Family Code?
¿Y usted ha tenido entrenamiento a calcular manutención basado al Código Familiar de Texas? Sí. Yes, I have.
And have you calculated child support in this matter?
¿Y ha calculado manutención en este caso? Yes, I have. Sí.
And please share your calculations with the court.
Based on testimony from Ms. Lopez that Mr. Almendares is a construction worker, I did investigation under the Department of Labor statistics under Texas as the average income of a construction worker. And based on that information, the annual gross income is $34,980. Divided that by 12, gross income is $2,915. After taxes and healthcare, net income is $2,000. $116.12. Given for 3 children, his child support should be $635. Also, medical support will be $204. Basado en la investigación de que el testimonio de la señora López, que el señor es un trabajador de construcción, basado en el Departamento de Labor de los Estados Unidos, alguien en Texas, el medio que uno gana haciendo eso es $34,980. Dividido entre 12, mensualmente el señor está ganando aproximadamente $2,915 y dándole crédito que él va a pagar $204 de aseguranza, la manutención serían $635. I also calculated retroactive support in the matter from November 1st of 2017 through October 25th, 2021. From November 2017 through July of 2018 was based on minimum wage at $228 per month. And from August 2018 through today, it was based on $635 at his income based on the Department of Labor. So total retro is $26,340 with a payout of $185 per month. También calculé el retroactivo de noviembre 1, 2017 a la fecha de hoy. La mantención debe ser $26,340 y pagado a $185 por mes.
Thank you, Mr. Barrera. Your Honor, I have no further questions for Mr. Barrera.
Ms. Lopez, do you have any questions for Mr. Barrera?
Señora López, ¿tiene preguntas para el señor Barrera? No.
All right. Can we excuse him, Ms. Sharma? Oh, no, he still has to be an interpreter. All right.
Yes.
All right. Call your next witness.
Yes, Judge. I'd like to call Ms. Lopez.
Señora López, la llamamos a usted de testigo.
Ms. Lopez, how old are your children?
¿Cuántos años tienen sus niños?
Tiene 12, 10 y 7.
They are 12, 10, and 7.
And are you currently married?
¿Y usted ahorita está casada? No.
Okay. And who do you allege is the father of your children?
¿Y a quién dice usted que es el papá de las niñas?
Ramón Elías Almendares Cervellón.
Ramón Elías Almendares.
And how do you know that he's their father?
¿Y cómo sabe usted que es el papá?
Porque yo sé que él es el papá, hasta se le hicieron una prueba de ADN.
Because I know he's the father and they did DNA testing.
Okay, and the DNA testing showed that he was the father of all 3 children, correct?
Y el examen de ADN enseña que él es el papá de las niñas, ¿correcto? Yes.
Portland, take note that the DNA test reports would indicate that the alleged father, Ramon Almendares, is not excluded as the biological father of the tested children, Ruth, Maybelline, and Catherine.
La Corte nota que basado en el examen de ADN no podemos excluir que el señor Ramón Almendares no es el papá de Ruth, Maybelline y Catherine, perdón.
Okay.
Y él es el papá.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Sharma.
And how would you describe your relationship with their father?
¿Cómo describe usted la relación entre usted y el papá?
Pues no tenemos ninguna relación, no tenemos ninguna comunicación.
Señora, no se puede oír. Por favor, ¿puede repetir eso?
Yo no tengo ninguna comunicación con él, o sea, no hablamos ni nada, no tenemos
I don't have a good communication with him. We don't talk to each other.
Who usually makes the day-to-day decisions for your children?
¿Quién hace las decisiones de día a día de sus hijas?
Yo, su madre.
I do.
And how often does their father assist with those decision-making?
¿Y qué tan frecuente el papá ayuda haciendo esas decisiones?
Nunca.
Never.
So the children live with you?
¿Las niñas viven con usted?
In which county do you live in?
Yes. ¿Y en qué condado vive usted?
Yo estaba en Houston, pero ahora estoy viviendo en Augusta, Georgia.
I was in Houston, but now I'm in Augusta, Georgia.
And where does your father reside?
¿Y dónde vive el papá?
En Houston, Texas, en el condado de Harris.
In Houston, Texas, in the county of Harris.
Okay. Do you believe that joint managing conservatorship is not in the best interest of your children?
¿Usted piensa que los derechos de conservadores gerentes compartidos no es en el mejor interés de sus niños?
¿Cómo así? No entiendo.
How is
All
that?
right.
I don't understand the question.
Will you lead her, Ms. Sharma, please?
Yes, Judge. Do you believe, Ms. Lopez, that you should be the primary parent to make decisions for your children?
¿Usted piensa que usted debe que ser la conservador, la mamá que tiene los derechos de conservadores primarios sobre los niños? No se oye, señora. I
Okay.
believe she said yes.
Okay. And do you believe that their father should have visits with children?
¿Usted piensa que el papá debe que tener visitaciones?
Para mí no.
For me, no.
When was the last time the father saw the children?
¿Cuándo fue la última vez que el papá vio a las niñas?
Pues ya ni recuerdo.
Well, I
Hace-
really don't remember.
Oh, was it 1 year ago? 5 years ago?
¿Fue como un año? ¿Fue como 5 años?
Creo que como un año y medio. Que él lo
I
tiene
believe it's like 1 year and a half.
And do you have any reason that he should not have visits with the children?
¿Usted tiene cualquier razón por qué él no debe que tener visitaciones?
Pues la verdad que, pues de mi parte, desde el momento que no me ayuda, pues es porque no le interesan mis hijas.
From my part right now is because he's not helping. It seems like he's not interested in my kids.
So regardless of whether or not he's paying, do the children want to see him?
Tocante de si está pagando o no, ¿usted piensa que las niñas quieren verlo?
No.
No.
Do you think that the children would be placed in harm, or would be children to visit with their father?
¿Usted piensa que las niñas van a estar en peligro si están en la presencia con el papá?
Pues creo que no.
Well, I
No.
believe no.
You want to keep the children from seeing their father, Ms. Lopez?
¿Usted quiere que el papá no vea a las niñas? No.
And why is that?
¿Y por qué no?
Pues porque en tanto tiempo él ni siquiera me llama para preguntarme cómo están mis hijas o algo. O sea, no le interesan mis hijas.
And all this time, he hasn't called to see how the children are, so it seems like he's not interested.
Well, what if he does become interested?
¿Y qué tal si sí se está interesado en verlas?
Pues no había ningún problema de mi parte. Si
Well,
él
then it wouldn't be a problem in my part.
Well, okay, so it would be all right for him to have visitation rights with the
So está
children.
bien que él tenga derechos de visitaciones para las niñas.
Sí.
Yes.
Thank you,
Go
Judge.
ahead, Ms. Sherman.
Let me see. So, and so are you asking the court to order child support based on minimum wage? I'm sorry, are you asking the court to order child support set at $635 a month beginning November 1 and thereafter?
Usted está pidiendo a la corte que ordene que él pague manutención mensual a 635 por mes, empezando el 1 de noviembre de 2021. Señora, no oí la respuesta.
And as far,
I believe she said yes.
yeah, she said yes. And as far as the back support, are you in agreement with those amounts that were stated earlier?
Y sobre la manutención retroactiva, ¿usted está de acuerdo con la cantidad que se leyó a la corte?
Sí.
Yes.
And how are the children covered under health insurance?
¿Qué tipo de aseguranza médica tienen las niñas?
Pues por los momentos ninguna, pero ahorita estoy en eso, queriéndoles agarrar una.
At this time, the children are not covered under any insurance, but at the moment, I'm trying to look for insurance.
Okay. And what type of insurance are you trying to obtain for the children?
¿Qué tipo de aseguranza usted está tratando de agarrar para las niñas?
Pues la verdad no sé todavía porque como me acabo de mudar aquí.
I'm looking. I just moved to this place, and I don't know which kind of insurance I'm going to get.
Are you looking for Medicaid insurance, government assisted insurance?
¿Usted está buscando por aseguranza de Medicaid o de asistencia del gobierno?
El Medicaid.
Yes, Medicaid.
Okay, I'm going to order that you get Medicaid for your children. You understand that?
Voy a ordenar que usted agarre Medicaid para las niñas. ¿Usted entiende eso?
Sí.
Okay, and once you get the insurance for your children, are you asking the judge to order reimbursement at $204 a month beginning November 1?
Y después de que ordene el juez aseguranza por el gobierno, ¿usted está de acuerdo que el señor se ordene a pagar 204 para la manutención? Yes.
Thank you. And did you sign this order today?
¿Usted firmó esta orden, señora?
Sí.
Por
Anything,
favor, repite. I can't hear her. ¿Usted
Sí.
firmó esta orden?
¿Por qué no se oye, señora? Ándale, ahora sí.
¿Firmó la orden? Yes, she nodded her head.
and
All right, are you
anything
asking the
else
court to
you,
approve this order, Ms. Lopez?
¿Usted está pidiendo a la corte que firme esta orden?
Sí.
I think
Yes.
lip reading and the nodding of the head would indicate yes. Court will approve the order submitted. Thank you.
La
Thank you,
corte
Judge.
aprueba
May I
esta
read
orden.
these, please?
Muchas gracias. Thank you. Ok, señora, el juez ya firmó, aprobó esta orden, ya puede retirarse, ya la firmó. Si tiene más preguntas, puede hablar a la oficina.
¿O cuándo puedo hablar?
Si tiene más preguntas, puede usted llamar a la oficina.
Ok, gracias.
Bueno, muchas gracias.
Thank you, Arnold. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Arnold, did you get Natasha's email? Don't leave, Arnold, because Sandra's coming over here. They need you, I guess, to translate. Either she's going to translate and you're going to testify, and I also need you to testify. Natasha forwarded you the email in regards to the wages. My party should be out. She should be here any minute.
Maria, it looks like I made an entry. In this case, Was I looking at the wrong? I was obviously looking at the wrong. No, this is Carrasco's. You gave me the wrong one. Okay, I've got the number here.
Your Honor, so I'm coming to visit with you in person on Thursday. It's my
Yeah.
turn to come down to the courthouse.
Okay. Oh, let's see. We've got
Maria, I'm gonna call her because she left before I left. So I'm gonna call her.
all right.